I have a very special guest here. Her name is Julie Costa, and she is a master hypnotherapist, NLP trainer, and the founder of Anchored Certification Program. I know that I didn't do a very good job at introducing, as I normally don't do. But so, Julie, why don't you just take it from here, maybe embellish a little bit on what the small words that I said, and really let my listeners know who it is who you are and what you offer.
Yeah. Hello. I think you did a beautiful job, by the way. I'm like, I wouldn't add too much to that. I am excited to be here. In a nutshell, I'm a certified master clinical hypnotherapist, and I work a lot with business owners, coaches, entrepreneurs, executives, founders to really help them achieve their big business and career goals with hypnosis. And then there's the other side of my business that's also a trainer. So seeing the results that clients have from hypnosis is wonderful. It's always incredible. And what is even more rewarding is being able to teach, train, and certify others in the tools that I use to see the shifts they get and then how they get to impact the lives of others. And that I do inside of Anchored, my certification program.
So for my listeners, how Julie and I connected was through a networking event. And then we just decided it was time to connect a little bit more. And I saw a post once from Julie, and on my heart, it had been, I wanted to be a success coach. I wanted to have that accreditation. And, I never even thought to ask Julie about, what's this Anchored, until one day I saw this post, or I should think that was a story on Instagram, and it listed all the modalities of your certification program. And lo and behold, success coach, boom, right there. And I was like, message you right away. I never knew this. Send me the link. I need to get in. Do you have room?
Well, let's actually backtrack, because what I think is funny about that is I started working with you first.
Yes.
Right? So intuitive guidance on my business. And you were sharing things that you were seeing about Anchored, and you're like, there's definitely going to be some last minute Lindas who sign up. And then all of a sudden, I think it was days later, maybe weeks later, you responded and you go, I think I'm one of those people.
It was amazing, because you're right. You and I were a client mentor on both ends. And I never saw myself as last minute Linda. I should have tuned in and really said, I think there's an R in this person's name, because yes, I was the last minute Linda, and it was so funny.
When I'm always a last minute Linda. That's how I roll with things. And we've talked about strategies inside of Anchored. That's my strategy. It's I'll see things and know I'm interested, but it will have to be the last minute, the last call. And then that is when I know I need to pounce on it.
I didn't even know it existed. Otherwise I would have probably pounced on it. Literally, I will say at least a week beforehand, I was really getting into the thick of things with another corporation or company about success coach. And I never felt right. There was a disconnect. There was something going on. And the moment I saw your story, it was this is it. And I had no idea. I didn't know what NLP was. I knew what EFT was because of our common friend, Natalie. Yeah. I really didn't know what hypnosis was. There was so many modalities in this package that is called Anchored. I had no idea. And let me tell you, listeners, this has literally changed my life. Honestly.
We love hearing that.
Yeah, it has, because when you started your program, Anchored, I was lost. I'm NLP. Okay. I know what it means, but I don't get what is going on. And you kept reminding me, don't worry, it'll click. Don't worry. And I'm it better start clicking real soon, because I feel lost. But you're such an incredible mentor and teacher, especially in this program that I can say I have gone through, and by the time this session airs, I will either be moments away from graduation or in a few days away from graduation, or I might not even be graduated, but I think this is going to be airing before graduation. But
So exciting.
yeah, so maybe tell my listeners a little bit about what NLP is and why you decided that this was something that the world needed, which of course it is, but why was it on your heart?
Yeah, so I'll share. I discovered the world of NLP, hypnotherapy, subconscious reprogramming at a time in my life where I had gotten fired from my corporate career. I had entered the world of entrepreneurship. I had burnt myself out very quickly and was not in a good space. I had also been the same type of business owner that was like jumping from coach to coach, course to course, thinking I needed to learn all the things. Oh my God, they have this secret sauce that like I just need to learn and then my business will blow up, like that mentality. I feel like we've all been there.
Been there. Yes.
Been there. And in that whole quest, I definitely like burnt myself out. And I knew it wasn't going to be a coach, or like it wasn't going to be like a typical coach or a course that was going to like shift things for me. And so I stumbled upon NLP, subconscious reprogramming, and my now mentor and trainer, Rachel. And I decided to join her certification program, which at the time I didn't even know was a certification program. I just was doing it for my own personal development.
Isn't that amazing? Like it's just, keep going. Sorry.
So just like you shared, you were like, I don't know, like, is this all coming together? I'm like confused. Like, that's how I felt. I was going through my practitioner training too. Like, what the F am I learning? And then it all starts clicking and it all starts coming together. And then because you're like practicing the things, you're experiencing shifts along the way.
Yeah.
And so I just had all these profound shifts within myself personally and professionally. And so then I went on to my master's certification after that. So like went deeper. I was like, wow, I just like got to know more about this. And then I had no intentions of becoming a trainer until people in my community were asking me to teach them and train them. And I was like,
oh wow.
Okay. So that's when I jumped on my trainer's training. But NLP in a nutshell, where the majority of us tend to go when it comes to self-development, personal development, is like stuff with the conscious mind. Okay. The books, the podcasts, the courses, the coaches. And it's a lot of like tactical how-tos and tips and tricks and all that stuff. And I mean, at the end of the day, we could take anything and implement a strategy and like make it work. Like, let's be real, like we can. And that's not what typically holds us back. I don't care if it's weight loss or business or finances or relationships, whatever it is, that's not what holds us back. It's usually the beliefs of like, who am I to do this? Or I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy. And so that's where NLP comes in, because it's not targeting the conscious, the logical mind. It's targeting the subconscious, where all those beliefs are stored. And you need to get those beliefs to reprogram them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And honestly, there's more to this than what we're sharing right at the moment, but that's what started me as well down this path of NLP, and especially hypnotherapy, because I was when I started with Anchored. I mean, it was funny because I didn't think I would know anybody, and lo and behold, Jen, who lives like 10 minutes from me, joined. So that's kind of cool. But I was in this midst of, I know there's something more for me. I know I can feel it, right? Like I can feel it, but I stopped myself from even exploring what that possibility is because of my own limiting beliefs, or the beliefs that I held deep. And it was through actually experiencing the practice partners, and not just reading the book or watching the videos, but the practice partners, that things started to shift in me. And I was blown away to the point where I made a decision to change corporate jobs. And it was in that critical moment in that subconscious and conscious, back and forth, where we had a practice partner, and I can't remember who it was, but it doesn't matter. I had a practice partner, and we went through parts integration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, it was Rihanna. Rihanna? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rihanna,
And it was, we went through parts integration and how I wasn't feeling worthy. I felt stuck, yet I wanted to be this top executive. Like there was that, like that. My words aren't coming to me right at the moment, but there was that fight, right? And we did that. And it was that moment I knew I needed to change my career. And lo and behold, boom. And it's been amazing. Absolutely
and
amazing.
that's my favorite part. The practice partner sessions are like it's anchored intentionally designed that way because everybody learns differently. So it's set up for the learners that are like auditory, so you can like hear the modules, visual to watch. Also visual to watch like live demos on our live calls, but then like the practicing, the kinesthetic people that need to practice. And we always do things within ecology. So we're never like working on things that are hypothetical or made up. Like they're always real life situations that you guys are going through so that you can experience the shift for yourself first.
Yeah. And that thought never even crossed my mind that this was going to happen to me, like personally, because I went into it as, oh my gosh, there's a certification for a success coach. And I get all this other stuff to it. Oh, that's great. Now it is, oh my gosh, look at all this stuff that I am certified in, these modalities that I am certified in, and I can call myself a success coach.
Yeah. And I think you touched on a good thing too, where a lot of people might go in for like the business side of like getting the certification, which is great. And a lot of people forget that throughout the process, like what you gain personally from like your shifts and experiences of the modalities itself. So it's like a win personally and professionally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I'm just going to ask this because I'm sure my listeners are thinking the same thing. Julie, do you do this on yourself as well? Like, do you practice what you preach? Now, I know the answer. I know the answer because I'm with you all the time, but do you? Give us an example that you could say, okay, this is what I use. This is tell my listeners, describe it in detail.
Absolutely. And I would say too that I had a really good year personally and professionally last year. And I truly believe it's because I am the embodiment of my own work. I don't just talk the talk. I absolutely walk the walk. So whether it's on the regular, like listening to hypnosis audio, subliminal audios, tapping, visualization, I work with I'm all for long-term mentorship. And I've been with my mentors and trainers. One of them at least 4 years now. So I'm always doing the work with them side by side, whether it's subconscious, whether it's somatic, taking myself through like time techniques I'll do if I need to. And a lot of times too, it's coaching myself. For like example, and I think this would be great because many people may find themselves in this type of situation. If I'm just feeling like really overwhelmed. Right? We can stay in that overwhelm very easily. And at the end of the day, overwhelm is when things are just like so vague and we're not getting specific about the things that are overwhelming us. So I know I've been in situations where like I have to coach myself and literally take like a paper and a pen or Google Doc if you choose. Like, okay, what specifically am I overwhelmed with? And then when you actually like put it on paper, you're like, oh,
yeah,
it's not really that bad. So it helps to know how to like coach yourself through those moments too.
Yes. I don't know of anybody that's not experienced overwhelm.
Exactly.
So good example. Yeah. So I also know that one of besides Anchor and the incredible women that are part of your program, you also have one of my absolute favorite on the go, on the fly, kind of, I don't know even what you want to call it. I don't know, but it's called Activate, and
Mhm.
I listen to it all the time. You have your subliminal messaging, you have your hypnosis, your breath work, all in this one container of Activate. And
Wow.
that's I know I'm preaching it, but that's another thing that has gotten me through a lot of stuff. And I
Me
just
too.
listen to it when I walk. Like it's not like I'm intentionally sitting down in front of my computer and taking an hour and sitting there.
Mhm.
These these messages are going on in the background while I'm working. They're in my ears as I'm on a walk. Like
Mhm.
your messaging or your Activate component is has been another critical factor in what I want to call my success rate. It is
I
because
love that.
it's all going part and parcel together. And I never
Mhm.
saw this coming. Honestly, I didn't. I
Mhm.
never saw this coming. And I am so grateful and blessed that we did connect.
We
Even if
did.
it was something totally different, we did connect and here we are today.
I know. And yeah, Activate's been really cool because it's funny because I created it once and put it out there a year before this like last big hurrah of it. And nobody purchased. There was like crickets. And this is just a really good lesson for anybody. Like it's just like my messaging was off, like it wasn't the right time. I like did some data research, like like market research, and then refined it. And then now it is what it is, which is like a self-hypnosis digital library. Because
Mhm.
I do truly believe like you don't need to work with a therapist one-on-one. It's like nice, of course.
Mhm.
And like this is a whole library to support you with so many different topics and themes that you can just literally take anywhere on the go and like plug in
Mhm.
and different types of audios based on what you're looking for. Like yes, you can like rest, receive, close your eyes, you listen. You can habit
Mhm.
stack and listen while you go for a walk. Like there's just a bunch of different ways to reprogram, and I thought that was important to like put that out there. Um, just so people know, like, you don't have to work. I know, and there'll probably be hypnotherapists to be like, "What are you
Yeah.
saying?" And I'm like, you don't need to. Like,
Yeah.
you can get ahead and like what you desire with this type of
That's
resource.
right. Because it's all within us to do
Mm-hmm.
this.
Yep.
Because now I did learn a few things that hypnosis is actually self hypnosis. So it's
Mm-hmm.
in the self that we can actually modify things, change things, and grow from them. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
is the whole container of Activate and Anchored, as well as your own practice. I mean, I know you also have one-on-ones
Mm-hmm.
with people, but it's such a thing, the whole thing, that people really need to start paying attention to, and really just dig deeper into, why am I being drawn to this? Well, there's something
Yeah.
inside, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's so
Yep.
beautiful. And I'm like, honestly, I know I've already hit the ground running on some modalities with certain individuals that they're my little testers. Um,
Yeah.
and like hypnosis, I didn't know what hypnosis was. I've never had hypnosis before. And this is something that I know is going to be very beneficial to my clients as
Yes.
well as the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm. That was what impacted me the most, and
Oh,
why
okay.
when I went through my program, and like that's why I kind of went full force in terms of like that's what I do now as a hypnotherapist.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the next couple of weeks, we're getting into a modality, time techniques. I'd say time techniques is my second favorite.
Oh, okay. Share, please. What is time
Yeah.
techniques?
So hypnosis is really just a relaxed state so that you can like quiet the ego and get
Okay.
into that subconscious to reprogram any negative beliefs into like more positive ones to support you in what you desire and want to achieve. Time techniques I love because my whole process, I like to view it as kind of like a reflect, release, reprogram. And so
Mm.
time techniques is definitely like a release where there's like negative stuck emotions that we have going on in our subconscious, and we attach meaning to everything. So let's say if someone's like fearful to show up on social media, for example, well, they've attached a meaning to fear, and it's so emotionally charged. So when they like feel that fear, they're feeling a certain way, or they're thinking a certain thing, or they're believing a certain thing. And so with time techniques, you can go back on that person's timeline subconsciously, whether it's past life, past generational, in the womb, during birth, after birth.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, it's very cool. And you get to, again, we don't like relive anything, but you like look down on the event to gain new positive learnings. And the new positive learnings you take with you help neutralize that emotion. So it's not to say you'll never feel it again. You're a human being. Of course you'll feel it.
Yeah.
But what happens in the future is like the emotions neutralize. So like fears neutralize. So when you meet fear in the future, you respond differently, and then you take different actions.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Cool.
Yeah, time techniques is very cool. That paired with hypnosis is one of my faves.
Wow. And I will be learning that very soon.
Yeah.
I can't wait, because that's something that I know with my clients that I am helping, intuition. Some of them do have a block on certain things, like whether or not it's why they think intuition is bad or scary, or there's other things that people believe. And it's like, okay, I need to get to the root of that and change that a little bit for them. Not me. They will change it for themselves. I'm just going to be like the guide and helping them along. And because our gifts, sometimes our gifts get squashed, and yours is definitely a teaching gift. You are not squashed. You are like in the flow and going to be flourishing. And I know that I've said this before, but 2025 is going to be very expansive for you. And there's going to be some things that are going to just elevate you to a totally different level. And I'm not talking ego level. I'm talking your personal growth, and so many beautiful things happening for you in 2025.
Even a wedding.
Even a wedding. Yes. Yes. And I do have to tell my listeners, when Julie and I when Julie was my client and I was the mentor, one of the things that was asked, is there going to be a wedding? And I'm like, listen, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. Don't ask. Don't be asking me. Don't. And I didn't say anything, but I knew there was going to be something coming up very quickly.
Well, and you said too, because I think it was more so like, is there going to be a proposal? And first of all, like, I'm not that woman that's like,
no, she's not.
I need this, I need this, I need this.
No.
It was more so we had been talking about it for a long time. So I was like, is it happening? Like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
And I remember you said, because it was around Christmas time, and you were like, well, just don't expect it like under the tree. And it happened on New Year's Eve after.
And it's so incredible. I got this message on New Year's Eve, and I'm like, what? That's amazing. Yep. That was amazing. Crazy. Yes. Yes. And definitely a wedding is coming in 2025, and it's going to be so beautiful. So
I know. I'm excited. We're excited about it. Yeah. It's going to be fun.
That's cool. Before we end, how about you let my listeners know where they can find you and what is coming up for Anchored?
Of course.
Or any other program that you've got. I know that there's some things brewing, but anything that you want to share with the listeners, I know they're like sitting on the edge of their seat.
Heck yeah. I'd say Instagram, always best place, julie.m.costa. If I do have a link for free hypnosis audio for attracting clients. So that's on there that you can download. You can also learn more about Activate, although Rhonda, I think you're an affiliate. So you might even want to put Activate link in your podcast notes.
I will.
So you can learn more about Activate. And then because Activate, you can join whenever. And that's just a self-hypnosis digital library. And then Anchored, my coaching certification program, I do run that once a year. So that in between I can give it the time it needs to refine and tweak each cohort. And so doors for early bird enrollment for the 2025 cohort open in June. And I know some people will probably be thinking, because my community like always asks me like, wow, like doors opening in June and it doesn't start till January. And the reason why is there are pre-study modules that do need to be
Mm-hmm.
watched 2 times before the live component. And I'm like really trying to like highly recommend that people watch them at least 1 time before the program starts, and then the
Mm-hmm.
second time during, so it doesn't feel like there's so much happening and going on from January to June.
Yeah.
So you get access to all your pre-study modules and can start like diving into the content right away. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's
doors
amazing.
open. Yeah, early bird is in June, and that is $1,500 savings.
Woo!
Month of
That's a
June.
nice one. My gosh. We'll definitely leave all of this information in the show notes.
Yeah.
Again, I can't say enough about your Anchored program and Activate, but Anchored has really anchored me into my purpose, and I love it. And I thank you so much for being an incredible teacher and mentor and friend.
Thank you. It's been it's been fun. And it's I love the teaching part. I love it. I love it.
Yes, you're a great teacher. She is. If you're listening and thinking, oh, I've never met Julie, just trust me on this. She is an incredible teacher. Incredible.
Yeah. And my DMs are always open too on Instagram. I'm a zero pressure gal, like
Yep.
ask questions away and I getcha.
Yeah.
Because I always say, like, if it's not me that can support you in whatever capacity, I have plenty of people I can refer you to.
Awesome. And on that note, watch the DMs. They're going to come at you. People are going to be asking. Yep, just saying, just putting it out there. And then, yeah, again, everything is going to be in the show notes. And if you have any questions, you can ask me. But I'm going to just point you over to Julie anyway. So you might as well slide over to Instagram and give Julie a follow and ask her the most important questions.
Yay.
Thanks for coming.